it's not just the AI, but it's the efficiency. It's the whole other area of our brains and a whole alternate reality that has been created because AI exists. Yeah. And it's like that in and of itself, the only people that are truly going to be obsolete because of AI and robotics, I think, in the coming years will be, as far as companies go, it's unfortunately going to be entry-level positions. You're going to have a lot of unskilled labor positions just simply replaced because they've been wanting more per hour, and companies are going to say, why would we do that when we can use AI mixed with robotics and have greater productivity and greater efficiency? That is going to be something we have to worry about.
Right.
But then also, it's just going to be those who refuse to change. It's going to force change. And so should we be scared of that? I think a healthy fear, but at the same time, that's what should drive it. I mean, my industry, every industry is thinking about, I'm not worried about being replaced, but I'm worried about others that will learn how to integrate something like AI intelligence, and then they're gonna bypass it simply because they've now just souped up their engine, so they're gonna blow by us.
Right,
so
and exactly, and
that's where I'm at.
And see, my company, we are on the front end of that innovation. We are on the front end of AI technology, and we're doing it in a very practical, useful way.
Yeah.
And so before I'm going to get you and I were discussing a business opportunity, but before I'm going to get involved with a big organization like that would have those difficulties changing, I would rather throw a hand grenade in there, which is what I did. Throw a hand grenade in there and say, okay, basically, I need you to
get out
fully
the way.
Comply with what I need, or I don't want to do business with you. Right? We're gonna implement this technology, or we're not gonna work together. And it's a great opportunity, but it wouldn't be a great opportunity if I wasn't allowed to continue to innovate. If I had to stroke the ego of some boomer because he don't understand it, I can't. That's a waste of my time and energy, and none of us will be successful.
Exactly right. And what's interesting is right now, and this is not just with what you're talking about, it's in everything. And look, I know it can be offensive to some people when you bring up the generational thing, but they did it beforehand, so we'll just keep it going. But the fact is, most of the assets, and I'm talking now like when you look at companies and the CEOs, and then you're talking about just on the individual level, a lot of the money, let's just say money, there's a lot of money out there, right? But it's like all tied up with this old mindset. And where we've seen it start to turn into change is you've got companies, I mean, you think about companies like Alphabet, which everyone knows because of YouTube and Google, right? But then you've got Apple, but then you've really got companies like Amazon, and they're always looking to, and people accuse them of wanting to be like monopoly, antitrust, but they're always looking to get into the next thing. Even Meta, like they'll invest so many hundreds of billions of dollars into something that's not even tangible yet. Right. And people are like, oh, you're stupid for doing that. And like, no, this makes us a competitor. It's like we go in a time machine 5-10 years down the road, and it keeps us relevant. You're not doing that. Yeah. So that's where we're seeing either companies dying out, getting absorbed, but then the few that are continuously in their business model ahead of the curve, that's why they're so big. That's why Amazon's
it's
a behemoth.
Almost like it's a shoot for the stars and hit the moon. But
you're still out of this world.
Right. You think of Elon trying to go to Mars, for example.
I know, right?
For that example. But now look at, we have the satellite internet, we have the Starlink, we have we have a lot of the self-automated car stuff. We have a lot of the robotics.
Hey, he's probably going to be the first, like, in today's dollars, official trillionaire. I mean, that's just, I think with the pay package and all that.
When does the IPO come out for SpaceX?
Yeah, with SpaceX.
When does that happen?
It's a big deal.
Did they announce it?
I think they're still working on the details of that. But either way, it's all.
We're too late anyway, right? It doesn't matter.
I don't know about any initial pre-offerings or anything like that, but I can't talk about that.
Oh, that's
but
right.
I can't talk about that. Anyways, no, seriously, it's just innovation. It's always been there, but the thing that destroys that is just, this is how we've always done it. I hate that so much. Now, in some cases, it's true. You know, like you talk about like, okay, so I've been thinking like, I want to get a nice watch. Never cared about a watch, but I'm the place where I'd like to get a nice watch, not an Apple Watch. I mean, like an actual timepiece. And I've been thinking like, okay, there are just some brands. They've always done it well and right and good. like Rolex. Everybody knows Rolex.
40,
There's other ones.
The 40 millimeter day date.
That's
what you need.
That's and I might go for that. But the point is, it's like if you were to go in another time machine and go back to the 1960s, Rolex would have been a thing. In fact, that's what I really want. I want to watch from like the 60s. I wish I could find one from earlier, but I've been looking. I'm like, I'm thinking, I just want something that has that vintage aspect. I don't know why. I just do. It's just cool. It's like you and your 1920s car. It gets attention from people, right? More than the new stuff. It's like, okay, wow, he has a modern Rolex, whatever.
Yeah, I just like it because I've always done mechanical work and built
the car.
Cars
oh yeah,
stuff.
No, I know.
And so
right?
that one, it's cool. It's like because I had to basically do all the mechanical work on it.
But you stand out on the road. This morning when I was driving up the road and I saw this silhouette of something coming at me that wasn't, a block or just a cube. And I'm like, that's Craig. And sure enough, I was waiting for the horn. Auga.
I didn't even see you.
I was waiting for the horn.
Yeah, but it's like I'm connected to those engineers. It was cool to see how they built the car.
Right.
And
yes.
It was cool to see that. And then I'm able to take sort of modern stuff like that one, for example. I changed the charging system and I upgraded. I have like a Alta, but it's still the original engine, a 40 horsepower, 100-year-old engine.
That is so cool.
But I'm able to do some of the modern, but it's kind of cool. I enjoy it. When I drive it, it drives terrible. It's slow. It turns awful. It stops awful. It leaks everything. It leaks every fluid, and it's supposed to.
Fluids you didn't even put in there.
Yeah, it's like it leaks coolant. It leaks gasoline. It leaks engine oil. It leaks gearbox oil out of like the transmission. It leaks gearbox oil out of the rear end, and the tires leak air. It literally holds nothing. Nothing stays in the car.
Nothing stays.
Yeah. So, but every now and then, I'll top all that up.
So you got to top it off every day.
I top all that up, and then not every day, but every some of the stuff I need to do.
Does it? Okay, so it leaks whether you're driving it or not. It just leaks. Period.
Yeah, like the gaskets were made of horsehair, or however they did that. Yeah.
So that's the point. Technology has brought some improvements.
Yeah, and I have a group of Model A, like those old cars.
Yeah.
And they're like, they just leaked oil. Nobody cared. They have dirt roads, I guess, so no one cares.
Yeah. Oh, back
so now
at the
I have
time.
a piece of cardboard. Like when I go visit my friend, I gotta climb under and put my piece of cardboard so I don't leak on their driveway.
Or if you don't like him, you just don't do that.
No, I would never leave.
Big old oil stain right there in his driveway.
It's not that big. It would leave it maybe a couple drops, but I just don't want to do that.
I mean, hey, what can you say? I mean, the thing's impressive. It catches attention, right? It gets people's attention because there is something about things and the nostalgia, and that's for me like vintage, I guess is the word. Well, in your case, antique. That thing's an antique. But antique vintage, I think is cool. It's like the watch thing, or even, a little. Okay, if I had endless amounts of money, don't laugh at me too hard on this one. If I had just an exorbitant amount of free cash flow, and I could also afford my kids' tuition, but no, I have to throw that in there. You want to know what I would do? I mean, seriously, some of the things I would do. I would look at some of these auctions, okay? And when I say auctions, I'm thinking like, okay, Hollywood memorabilia, all right? Like I would get Bethany a pair or like a pair of earrings or some piece of jewelry that was worn by Marilyn Monroe. She would love that. Or some element, something that was owned by her. I personally, my ultimate dream, and it will happen if I ever have the money to do it, I would get one of the costumes worn by Christopher Reeve in Superman. Any one of the 4 movies is fine. I love it from the first one, from Superman the movie. But you would come to at that point would probably be a very big house, and you would walk into a room in which probably would be my office, and in the corner you would see a mannequin.
You want the Superman outfit?
I wouldn't wear it. I would put on a mannequin.
Okay, you do want that?
I would try it on. No. Yes, I would love that. Even if it was just part, like if it's just the tunic or just part of it, the cape. But I would love the full, and they come up for auction, but the full Superman costume, cape included. I know that's super nerdy, but that's like my childhood movie. Like I watched that, and still I'll catch portions of it here and there. And I know more lines, I think, from that movie than anything else. But I think to have if you can point me like, he wore that in one of the scenes in this movie. Yeah. I think that would be so cool.
I'm gonna find a fake, like a replica, like a fake one.
No.
And I'll buy it for you and just say, and tell you that it's real, and you'll never know. And then one day when you're about to die, you'll be like, "You remember my Superman costume?" And I'll be like,
It was a fake.
I was like, it was a fake the whole time. You look so stupid.
You would.
I might even sign it.
I wouldn't even have time to get mad at you. It would just be like, oh. But no, that would be something. Stuff like that. Like it would be.
I understand.
It would be cool to have.
It connects
some
you
of those
to
things.
like it connects you to other people.
There's just, I don't know, maybe, and I didn't always feel this way, but like, the older that I get, but the just, I don't know, the value in that kind of stuff, like, and this is going to also sound weird, but something else I would do is, like, from the World War II era, specifically the Holocaust era, some of that memorabilia, like their memorabilia, there's some interesting, like, Jewish and Nazi stuff. Not that I buy and display a Nazi flag, but just stuff from that era that was a part of it. I don't know. There's just something amazing about that. Like, if you had a yellow star worn by someone
historically, or
yes,
in the World War II Museum, they have like the pile of shoes,
right? Yeah,
like, I guess before they were going into camps. I mean, it's heart wrenching, but it's part of our history, and I think it's something to remember. Well, one of the things you said about the jewelry, I was at you talk about some earrings for Bethany, but Jessica and I we're in Boston, and we went to the Museum of Fine Arts there, and they happen to have like this Egyptian exhibit where they had all of the coffins were painted and all this ornate stuff and all of the jewelry.
Did you say hi, mommy?
Yeah. Then so I was reading. We were in the room, and I was reading one of the placards, and it was about the jewelry that was this princess wore, this Egyptian princess, like thousands of years. It was like some earrings, some other thing, and I was just reading like how old she was, possibly what she. And then Jessica, my wife, walks by there, and she goes, "Oh, cute earrings," and she kept walking, and it was amazing. She had this connection with this woman
thousands of years ago that also said cute earrings, basically.
Yeah, they both.
That's insane. Think about that.
Two different people looked at it. And said,
okay, now that's what you call a timeless design. If it's good for thousands of years. Did you take a picture?
I think that's why I like old. I think maybe that's why you do also. I think that's why I like the old stuff, because it's like connects us with humanity.
It's kind of like music, like some of the songs. So I always get amused with, so I've got, 13-year-old and 10-year-old, and, they don't listen to the new music and stuff. But what I get, like there was a time when they were getting Rickrolled. You remember that Rick Ansley song, "Never Gonna Give You Up"? So they were all listening to that. The kids were, from a song from your day, right? The 80s or 70s, or when were you born?
80s.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, when were you born? 2000.
Late 80s. Thank you. Yeah, I look like it. I got carded for cough syrup the other day.
2002. Well, 2000 is 25 years ago. 26, about to be 26 years.
It's depressing.
Ago.
I know. No, I'm a late 80s
There's
kid.
Full adults were born in 2000 right now. They go pay taxes. They work places.
Full adults when you were like done with high school.
Yeah, full adults who weren't alive during 9/11.
That's insane. Ooh, I don't want to talk about that. Well, either way, I don't look it. But yeah. What was I saying? Okay.
I think you were saying
the music. Okay. So there are just like some of the songs that, like, and this has happened before. I'm driving down the road, and I'm just in the middle of all this modern day bleh, and I get to a stoplight, for example. I don't do this while I'm driving, but and you got that music, like one of those songs from like the 70s on, and you close your eyes and you realize that for a split second, while your eyes are closed and you're hearing that song, you are having the exact same experience as somebody in the 1970s in their car. If they would have stopped while that song was brand new, just came out, they close their eyes, they're hearing that song, the same feeling, the same vibe, the same emotion. It's very cool to think about that. Cool. And I mean, there's the I was just listening to it because I have to for one of my scenes in acting class. Starship, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. Mm-hmm. You know that one.
I know that one. I'm trying to get someone to solo that with me one day.
Man, I might be the one to do that. Although
me and you are not doing that song together, bro. My wife's gonna do it with me.
No, I'm not gonna do it with you. But in acting class, Bill has us doing this. So there's a scene from this movie, Skeleton Twins.
Yes, it's
with
amazing.
Bill Hader.
Yeah, Bill Hader. And
yes,
whatever. That's perfect.
Yes. Okay. So he wants us to watch that scene where the Milo and Maggie, the twins in the movie, where she's like upset and sitting on the couch, and he comes in and she's kind of, and he's like, okay, and he slithers over to the boombox, whatever it was, puts it on and starts singing it, right? And you've seen he goes through it, has all the manners. Bill wants us to learn the song and the scene,
it's worth it.
Both parts, and then we're going to go through and do it.
Who's your partner? Who's your scene partner?
I don't know. I think he wants everybody to know both parts, so he might mix us up. I don't know, but it's going to be great. So I've been listening to that song in the car because I didn't know all the words. Can you believe that?
Well, so for my birthday, that's what I told Jessica. The only thing I wanted us to have a dinner party with all our friends, we pull out microphones and we start soloing that song. She won't.
You're looking in your eyes. So yeah, I could see Jessica. Let him say we're crazy. Yeah. I could just see it.
So
she won't do it, but we need to have this happen. Yeah. Maybe for your 50th. That's next year. I mean, we need to do that.
Not like 50.
Just kidding.
I might be getting old though.
Nah, you're still youthful, man. You still you play pickleball 4 times a day.
That's not a good sell for not being young. There's a lot of old people playing.
Yeah, but you spend all your time in the kitchen. I've seen you jump shots.
I'm actually making really good friends with older people, and I love that.
Really?
Yeah, you're like.
I wouldn't have known that. Okay, so.
Like me and like older old people, lady, like she could be like 75 years old. Me and this old lady,
so
we're
that's
like high-fiving. We're like
that's
friends.
your definition of old, 75. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and they don't mind being called. At 75, and you say you're old, you're like, yeah, I'm old.
Okay.
It's not disrespectful, but.
So do you chit chat with them about days gone by?
They're funny and they're fun.
Okay.
And you're doing a fun thing together.
I guess they're all retired. They got time. They don't have to worry about anything. You're like a little son to them. That's so sweet. I love that. I need to come play pickleball, dude. I just
you're not invited.
I don't know how. Why?
Because.
Fun.
But yeah. Anyway, I was thinking about
worried
music.
I'd be better.
Yeah, you probably would be better. But I was thinking about music the other day. Not the other day. I think about this same thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just vibrating our eardrums at certain frequencies and in certain orchestra.
Sure.
And some people are like, that is a bad song. And other people are like, that is a good song. And then you would say, that's the songs from the 1970s, or that it's all based on sort of how it's arranged. So it's maybe like that makes me feel the most autistic is not understanding people saying that, like, people won't listen to one type of music or another. You know what I'm saying? Like genre wise.
So you listen to everything?
No, I don't listen. I don't listen to everything, but I wouldn't say something is bad or good. It's just like I said, it's an opinion. It's completely objective. If you would have heard a song if you'd play one of today's songs sung by like Adele or some amazing singer, and you played it for someone in the 1920s, they would be like, they would hate it probably.
Yeah, probably. Because it would be unlike anything they'd ever heard. And didn't rock and roll have that problem?
Well, that's everything. Everything artistic is that way. Look at car design. I mean, they had cars that looked like the Tesla Cybertruck in the 80s.
Yeah.
Had some van things, some Pontiac vans, things like that. I'm saying it's like these car manufacturers have to like thread the needle, and even with fashion and stuff now.
It's true, yeah.
You have to be in the time, and then it's constantly moving. And I don't know why.
But yet you have to be timeless. It's amazing.
I don't wonder, why does it keep moving? Like, why don't we pick a thing and stay with it for a while?
I think I have an idea as to why. I think I know why. It is. I could be wrong, but think about it. When you talk about cars, when you talk anything, iPhones, all the stuff. There's the technology, right, that comes along. But if you're talking about like clothing and stuff, I think it's just because of money, right? Yeah. I mean, you have to have the new trend, and people, because all of us want to be accepted. Well, most of us. You want to be on trend, especially the ladies. Like, they want to have, right? So you establish that is outdated and this is now in. Yeah. So to be the cool girl or the cool guy, you have to be here. And what does that do? It gets people to spend money. So consumerism, probably. I'm getting real philosophical here on this.
I like it.
But I really think that's probably has a lot to do with it. Even with cars, like why you go from one model year to the next, you'll have like this huge depreciation in the value of the car. And you're like, but even with iPhones, it's like nothing really much changed.
Phones have really leveled off. Like the tech has.
It has.
I say that, and then you take a pic. You have the new iPhone, the 17.
I do, yeah.
The pictures on that make my pictures look terrible.
But
and my
the only thing that they've done on the iPhone is make the camera better. Everything else is pretty much the same.
Well, Josh, I gotta have that better camera.
Well, it would be nice if you would and get rid of the Android thing.
I can't because we're doing software dev, and Android lets us push updates to their store instantly.
Maybe? No, Android will be for work. Look,
I know you have 2 phones. That would drive me crazy. No,
work
I'm losing my
and
mind
personal.
With that. No, I couldn't handle that.
Well, I mean that, and they think I'm Colombian.
Well, I am work and I am personal.
I
roll it all together.
No, wait, Scarface wasn't Colombian. He was Cuban. You ever see Scarface?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's Cuban. That would be a good movie to watch, or maybe not. Let me scratch that. No. But no, I think that the reason that all this changes, there are improvements that things come, but with fashion and other, certainly even cars to some degree, it's just to keep that new essence, because everybody wants, ironically, at the same time, something new until, and it's amazing because something could be like old, but then once it flips to like vintage and antique, it all of a sudden gets this value.
But it has to be a new person, like a younger person who decides to pick it up and make it cool.
Exactly.
Like if Craig was 80, I couldn't go and be like, "Hey guys, let's all make this cool again." They'd be like, And
no, it's got to be
even
the
in
younger.
the words. Do you know, like all the kids, every kid they want to have their own words. Like
every
people,
generation,
I think people are inspired, are at their core inspired for discovery and to make the world different and to see what it could be and where that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that that's part of what technology enables us to do in our creativity and productivity. It goes up, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. At the same time, it's everything's changed, but there's really nothing new under the sun when you get down to it. People have been people. Jessica liked the earrings that the 3,000-year-old mummy lady was wearing at the time, and it was probably nice. I would assume. I don't know about ancient Egyptian fashion, but the very fact that it was earrings, for thousands of years, earrings have remained a thing.
Yeah.
Think about that. It's crazy. So, I think it all cycles back around, and then of course you've got the clothes from the awful things from like the 70s that have come back around, and then now, I gotta say this though, now it's the 90s clothes.
Yeah,
that are cycling back around. So you should be good to go. You still have all that stuff.
I don't claim to be a high fashion person at all.
No,
I just let you guys tell me what looks good. But do you have things in your closet like suits? Do you ever go that are maybe a couple years old and you're like, oh, we don't do that anymore?
So ties, like skinny ties versus the regular width ties.
All my suits now are skinnier, like a slim fit now. And I had one that was maybe a few years, but it wasn't slim fit. And I put it on. It looked like I was like going to court.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I look like a public defender.
So yeah, or a public offender. Yeah, no, there's certain cuts of suits and stuff. So like, yeah, the 90s had that real boxy gang. Yeah, no, those I don't think you can get away with those right now. But they might come back in a few years. I don't know.
That's what I understand. What do you mean by get away with?
What do you mean get away with those right now? If you wore it anywhere besides Baton Rouge, people would be like, loser.
They would look down on you for that?
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
If they cared. I mean, if you went to New York or some fashion place. But then I wonder, do most people even care? I don't know. Do we get stuff and do we make decisions more so based on what we think other people will think when in reality they're not paying attention, they don't really care? I mean, so if you go to an event, right, like a gala, obviously people are paying attention to you because that's an event where people have put in, especially the women, they thought about their dresses, their earrings, their makeup, the hair, the shoes. Every woman there knows that the other woman has put thought into it. Dudes, maybe a little bit, whatever. So you expect at a gala, right? You know people are going to be looking at you and judging you. That's kind of the point, right? But anywhere else, if you saw me in the store with a hoodie on, would you care? No. So why would I? But yet I might think, oh, if someone sees me with a hoodie on, so I better change. And a lot of people would. Maybe, unless it was Walmart.
Yeah, I'm usually wearing athletic wear if I'm not having to do anything.
I used to wear a suit and a tie every day. Like sometimes 6 days a week because Sunday church. So I'd be wearing a suit and a tie and a collared shirt 6 days a week. And I finally got to the place where I was like, I don't feel like it. And nobody's telling me I have to.
That's crazy.
So I just ditched it. Now I'll still wear a jacket throughout the week. But even then, that's just for pure comfort and convenience because I can put all my stuff in the pockets and it keeps me warm.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Sure can.
Some questions, and let me know if it's something you can't answer with your work. But I think it's just general knowledge stuff, so you don't have to be specific. But it's about options trading.
You want to know your options? Oh, stock options trading.
Yeah. Something you may have a little inkling, something you have an inkling about. So I know some of this stuff, but I'm gonna play dumb. I trade options and I understand it, I think, but I'm gonna maybe ask some questions. So just a generic. Can you explain what stock options are?
No.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know what they are. I mean, but basically, stock options. So when you have a stock in a company, you can choose to buy the stock, which is called go long, right? You can own it and go long. Or if you think it's going to go down, you can short it, right? Which means you basically borrow shares from somebody and you sell those shares and then you hope in the meantime, that the shares price will drop, so you can then go in and buy it back for less. So it's like, hey, I borrowed 100 shares of XYZ stock from Craig at $50, and I went and sold it for $50. Now I'm hoping I can go back in and buy it up for $40, and then I get to keep the $10 difference. That's how I profit. So there's that aspect, right? Longing, shorting.
So we're talking about just stocks right now.
That's just the stocks. Well, I'm building up to it because that's how the understanding starts of whatever. So when you go into options, now you're saying, okay, I want to try and look at my risk, because if you buy a stock, your risk is if it goes up, if it goes down. It's pretty straightforward. But when you introduce options contracts, and that's what they are, they're just basically contracts. They're contracts between essentially two people. And basically what it does is it can either multiply your potential gain or your potential loss, or you can make it very predictable. Like you can say, okay, I know that the most I'm going to lose on this transaction is this many dollars, and I'm okay with that. Or the most I'm going to be able to make is this much. There's also options you can say, hey, I can make sky's the limit, but my downside is kind of limited and capped. So,
so to be clear, be clear, so there's a stock which allows you to own a piece of a company. Okay,
that is correct. A share of a company.
Share of a company. Then there's a stock option. The option is to allow you to buy. So it's a contract that you buy on a group of 100 shares.
One option strategy is on 100 shares.
One option strategy is for 100 shares of the stock, but you don't have to buy the stock, but it's for the option to buy the stock at a specific price.
Well, so actually there's a combination of things. Again, it's a contract that you're entering into with somebody else where either you're both agreeing to something, but basically if you're buying an options contract, which gives you the option to do something with the stock, if you buy an options contract, you are typically going to be paying something because you're buying it, right? So what you pay is called a premium. Just like with insurance, you pay your monthly premium. So you're going to buy an option, you pay a premium. The person who is selling the contract, they receive that premium. So that's the first exchange of value. And a lot of times, the underlying stock itself, so pick the company, it doesn't matter, it would be based on that actual stock. A lot of times the stock itself is not what's really of tremendous interest, it's that premium. Because remember, if an option contract, let's say you buy it, right, and you've paid this premium, but now that options contract itself goes up in value, you may want to go ahead and sell it. You can do that before any dates come about. You can sell it and you'll be out of it, and you may have just gotten a profit based on the change in value of the option. And now all of the options are going, this is important.
No, it's pretty
options.
Good.
So what I'm saying here is
the question about the premium real quick before you move on. So the premium would be if you were to come to me and say, Craig, I want to buy your house for $1 million. Example, house isn't worth that. But Craig, I want to buy your house for $1 million. I can say, okay, give me $1 million. Say, no, I don't want to do it now. Can I give you $10,000 and that to hold that right to buy your house for $1 million? And that $10,000, I guess, would be the premium. Kind of
what you're talking about is more so in actual futures contracts. So it's a little different from options. What you're saying is more futures, and that comes in with some of the commodities and things. But
if you were to say, if I say, yeah, you can buy my house for $1 million for $10,000, I say, but when? And you say, oh, how long do I have to hold this offer for you? And you say, oh, I want you to hold it forever. I can say, well, I need more than 10,000. And then, or if I say, oh, till tomorrow, I said, yeah, I'll do it for you.
I like this example. Let's run with it, because here's actually what it would look like. I come to you and I say, Craig, okay, I want to buy your house, and I want a period of time that I get an option to buy it. I get the exclusive right to exercise my right to buy your house. But here's the thing, Craig. Today, your house is worth $1 million in the market. It's worth right at $1 million, and you would take that. That's fine. But here's the thing. I think your house is actually going to be worth $1.1 million in a month. But here's the thing. I want us to enter into a contract. I have 1 month. I want to buy your house for more than $1 million. Okay? All right? But here's the thing. We don't know. It may change. It may not change. I could be wrong, and I'll take the loss. But if I'm right, I get to buy your house at the same million. I said 1.9. If I get to buy your house at the same $1 million when it's actually in the future worth 1.1. So to be clear, we're saying, okay, it's worth $1 million today, and you would take, but I'm thinking it's going to be worth more down the road. But I don't want to pay that price down the road. I want to pay today's price in a couple of days when it's worth a lot more. So if I'm right, I will get your $1 million home, or in some cases, it could change and you could even get it lower than that. But I want to buy your $1 million home when it's worth more than that. Now, I'm willing to pay a little bit to do that. So I'm going to pay you $100,000, and I'll cut that out of my profit. So I'll be ahead of the game. $900,000, that's fine, but I'm buying that option so that I can get your house for $1 million when it's really worth 1.1 in the future. And you're like, dude, that sounds great, because if not, if you're wrong and it doesn't reach 1.1 million in market value, great. I get to keep my 100,000, plus I keep my house, and then I'll sell it at the market. Mm-hmm. So with stocks, it's the same thing with options. Now there's so many different strategies, and I love some of the terms because you can be covered, you can be naked, you call, you put, but those are some of the
that's things. The basic
so
idea.
Yeah, basically. Okay. So here's the thing. So if I am expecting a stock to go up in value, right, I am going to, typically the most basic entry level position, I'm going to buy a call. All right, so buy a call means this: I am going to buy the right to call your stock from you in the future at a determined price. And if there's value in that contract, I'm going to do it. If not, I'm going to let it expire, and I've just lost the premium that I paid. So what's amazing is the stock market itself, stock prices that trade and as they change in the marketplace, sometimes the options can impact the stock price. It's amazing. There are certain, that we call them triple and even quadruple witching events, but it's where like you'll have a bunch of options expire. Like usually the third Friday of every month is the big one. That's the most volume. That's where a lot of options will either be exercised or they'll expire. So that's the big event. That can actually move a stock price quite a bit if there's a lot of options interest, and it's for a big variety of all kinds of things. It can change the price
Friday
a lot.
I didn't know that. So the third Friday
That's
of the month
a big one to look at.
When most expire. And does that typically, if a stock is trending upward, is it kind of a good indicator that it's going to, that third Friday that you're going to see a lot of upward movement then, or people cashing in those things? Or
what? So what it can mean is as you get closer to or even get to the day itself, that is when you would see the biggest price movement, which is why you also, if you're a trader, which I don't recommend stock trading unless you really know what you're doing, but you can look at a price and say, ooh, either I know there's going to be a lot of volatility on this day because of that, so I'm going to try to trade that, or hey, I'm not going to mess with it actually, and I'm going to let this witching event go by, which is we call it.
Yeah. Just know on the third Friday of every month, don't do
so with bigger companies that have a lot of options trading on them, you will see options expire on Fridays. That's the main thing that we want to look at. So, but the larger companies, you'll see them all throughout the month, right? But when you talk about some of the more thinly traded companies or whatever, the smaller ones, it'll just be the third Friday of every month that you'll see that. So yeah, that's typically what we look at. And you can look at volume, you can look at open interest and whatever, but anybody that's interested in that area of the market has to understand one very important thing. It comes with a lot of potential risk. So, and people say, well, it's like gambling. And it's like, well, you are making some educated guesses and then some very hopefully educated projections. Like if I think how the companies report earnings, right? Once a quarter, they say, hey, This is our revenue. This is our forward guidance. This is our earnings per share. This is how we did. And the market takes that news. They look at the stock price and they say, stock's overvalued. We need to sell off a little bit. Or, oh my goodness, they beat. This is incredible. This stock is undervalued. Hurry, let's buy it up. Well, that type of volatility on an earnings call or an earnings date, that is where a lot of people truly will, if they're going to try to be strategic in their options buying and selling, they'll look at that. So if I know that company X or Y or Z or whatever.
Talking about trading on the earnings?
Yeah. So if I know that on December 26th, just to pick a random date, this company is going to report their earnings. And the general consensus is, you know what? They're going to do great. They had a good quarter. They're going to beat. And the stock is probably going to move up.
When you say beat, they're going to beat what people expect it to be.
Yeah, they're going to beat the expectations.
So first, what happens, I guess, weeks before or months, maybe a month, the experts speculate.
These are analysts, yeah.
Yeah, the analysts speculate what their earnings are going to be.
And they use their projections.
And that actually moves the price of the stock there.
It can, yeah, because
if
then
it's a big up or down.
They'll rate them up and down, yeah.
And then the day of, they release it.
Right.
And if the analysts were correct, not a lot of movement.
Well, if the company beats what they thought it would be.
Right, makes more.
And really just blows it out the water, top and bottom line.
And some companies consistently beat it.
Absolutely.
And that, I used to do some trading on earnings. And it would basically, I would find companies that consistently beat the earnings.
Right.
And that's a very predictable.
Yeah. Now, not all the time will the stock move a lot on that. That's the thing. So,
because they give guidance. I wish they would not give guidance.
Well, and you know what's funny? Guidance, which means this is what the company thinks it's going to do over the next quarter or the next year.
And that's on the same call when they release the earnings.
Yeah.
So you're like, yes, earnings. And then you got to sit there and listen to this call and hopefully they don't say anything negative.
So the guidance actually, I think now is, especially in AI and tech stuff, it's all about the guidance. Oh yeah, they had a great stellar quarter, but what's their guidance? Is there any slowdown? You know, so I mean, if there's any, even if it's like, hey, we're expected to do just as good, the market may be like, that's not impressive, and we're going to sell off 3%, 5%, whatever.
NVIDIA, if they like sneezed and they're in the call or something.
Exactly. Then it's like, 5% move. And, but that's, I don't like that approach. My thing is, if a company is doing well, but in its space, 5 years from now, am I going to look back and say, wow, I am so glad I've been an owner of this company for the last 5 years. Yeah. That would be something to look at. That's more of a buy and hold strategy. But yeah, so people will oftentimes look at traders, especially with options. They'll say, okay, we're expecting a lot of movement. Some expect no movement of a company on earnings, and there's option strategies for all of the above. Like you talk about, and I won't get into what these are, but just by name, you've got things like butterflies, you've got iron condors, you've got all of these strategies that based on, do you expect the stock to move a lot? You just don't know in which direction, or you expect the stock to not move at all, or you have a particular price in the middle of your range that you're expecting it to go to. All of these strategies exist and have been created for one thing, and that's to capitalize, but do so at like a multiplied rate of any potential gains or losses. So the risk is elevated, but the potential return is elevated. But the basics of it is calls and puts. Yeah. You have the right to buy someone else's stock at a more advantageous price, or you have the right, if you own a stock, to put it to somebody. They have to buy it from you at a not so great price for them, but it's good for you.
So for example, if you said I have $1,000 that I want to invest into Google, you would only get like 3 shares of Google, and they're $300 a share, for example. Okay, and then Google say it moves up. A good big movement for Google is like 3% or 2%.
It's a big company.
Yeah, then you make $30 or $300. No, $30. Yeah, you don't make a lot.
You would make a ton.
Plus or minus on Google, but it's pretty safe if you believe in it. And over time, it goes up.
If you want to own it,
you're not gonna make nothing huge.
Yeah.
In the same token, you can buy the same $1,000 worth of stock options.
True.
Which means, depending on how soon they expire, like if you get one that would expire tomorrow, for example, it would be very, very cheap. Or you get one that, I'm just saying, you don't want them that close for strategy wise. Right. But I'm saying that's how that you can take the same $1,000 and potentially make 1,000%, because you can buy, or 500%.
Could also lose the full 1,000.
Lose a full 1,000. But and that's the thing about
that's
options
the gambling
contract
aspect of it. Yeah.
If the stock moves up or down, if your stock goes down, you still have $980.
Yeah.
900. But if you buy a contract and it expires, you lose all of it.
Yeah, I mean, basically that's the risk associated. So you're playing movement in the market, the value of the stocks. You have to be on the correct side of whatever the movement is. But again, if you've done your research and you've been following a company and you know it, and you've looked at what the analysts have had to say, and you have some very strong convictions, and you've done this before, and you're like, you know what, I feel very strongly that this is what's going to happen. and you can cap your risk, mitigate your downside on things. This is what, so you will see, some like investors, portfolio managers, people like that, they'll use these strategies to try to get some extra excess benefit and return. There are some people that this is all they do. They just trade stocks and options. They'll have a few hits and a lot of misses, and then they'll annualize the hits, and they're like, well, I did, this incredible amount per year. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's great. You annualized it, but sure, whatever. But I realized, though, this is like a foreign language to most people. Like, people hear options and they're like, I don't even know that existed. The stock market itself is a foreign entity to a lot of people. There's a lot of misconceptions about it, but yeah, it's a completely foreign thing. But what's amazing is when you talk to someone and they're like, they understand the basics of the stock market, and then you introduce options, their minds are completely blown.
Yeah.
It's like what is this? But there's all kinds of things out there in the financial world. But at the end of the day, it's unfortunately you see a lot of people worse off when they get into it. And we're talking about the stock market. What about cryptocurrencies? Yeah. You could morph into that.
Oh yeah.
Phew.
But it's just emotional. I think most people don't view it scientifically like you do. You obviously analyze it and you understand.
Well, there's numbers to look at.
Yeah, I'm talking about myself when I say most people. I'm just emotional. I will buy something or sell something because I'm bored.
Because you're bored.
I'm like, I already have the app open. I've already put in my password.
You already did all this work. I gotta do something. I can't just not do something here. Well, you know what drives a lot of people, and this is not just with investing, but in general, fear and greed. Those are the two drivers for most people. Think about it.
Not honor.
Never. Or like a level-headed common sense. Just fear and greed. Think about that. Like, it drives so many people. Now, fear will cause people to sell things that it's amazing. It happens every time. Something drops, fear, people sell. Something goes up, greed, they buy more. And then it's like this inverse. There's actually a theory. I don't know if I've told you.
No, you told me this before because I called you. I said, Josh, every time I do something, it was like when I first started messing around, like as just a person in the world. And I'm like, Josh, every time the market does exactly the opposite of every decision I make. I'm literally, if I were to decide what I want to do and do the opposite, I would be crushing it right now. And you explained that there is
odd lot theory is what it's called. And it is basically Wall Street professionals. You look at what the retail person, the everyday person's doing, and you do essentially the opposite, and you will have at least caught the window that you should have been getting in or out of something. So if everybody, and then again, it is a theory, so we don't make it a science, but it is humorous because a lot of people I'll talk to, they're like, man, I sold at the exact like bottom. It's like the time I should have been buying, and the opposite. It's like it's because you did. But that's fear and greed. It's amazing. It's really incredible. And that's where the numbers help, but also a person's not really, most people are bankers. They understand, here's my dollar. I want a year to go by, and at the end of the year, I want my dollar back, and if I only have 3 pennies of interest, I'm happy. That's banking, right? It's very vanilla, just very straightforward. Most people are bankers in their mindset. They look at the value of like a stock portfolio daily, and they make decisions of movement daily like it's a bank account. It's like, no, investing's different. Investing doesn't look at those just spreadsheet numbers. You look at value. And when you talk about value now, you're talking about
a lot of variables.
Yes, and even intrinsic value. There's all kinds of ways that you look at the value of something. And what's amazing is the value that you see in something, I may not. I may say there's no value in this, but guess what that makes? Like at a garage sale or at a flea market or whatever, it makes a market. The market is just a place where people come together and say, I've got shares of a company that I don't want anymore. And you're like, oh, I want those shares. Let me get them. What's the price? Well, let's set a price. Well, he wants this. And it's all it is. It's just, that's what a market is.
My issue in this happened during GameStop. So,
oh gosh.
So the hedge funds always win. So this is the way. So the hedge funds, I say hedge funds, and I don't I'm talking about stuff I really don't know, but I'll just
You're fine.
say it, and maybe you can interpret if
Hedge
I make
funds
a
is
mistake.
fine. You can-
Just
we
say
know
these
what you mean.
big groups with billions and billions of dollars, institutional money.
Yes.
They can go and they buy options, and depending on the options that they buy, can actually move the value of the whole company. In other words, they can move the value of the stock by basically, if you go, like Elon was upset because Bill Gates shorted Tesla. And when Bill Gates shorted Tesla, he bought, when I say shorted, means he bought put options against Tesla. Basically, this big personality and this lot of money. He goes and says, I believe this stock's only going to be worth $100, for example. Yeah. And then everyone else follows suit and it drives the price down.
The big money, yeah.
Right. And so, anyway, they'll do those puts. And when the price does get driven down, they're breaking in tons of money. So it's like they're artificially able to move the market. And it's like basically goes in the direction they want it to go in. So that's why there's a lot of regulation. But anyway, they did that to a company called GameStop.
Yeah. Well, kind of, yeah.
Remember that a few years ago.
Oh, I remember very well, yeah.
And then it was the same thing, but the key here is they did it with options that expire, that have an expiration date. And so when they did this, all of, I don't know, Reddit or whoever it was.
It was Reddit, yeah.
It was Reddit.
It started on Reddit.
They said, these guys are trying to drive down GameStop. Let's all go and buy GameStop stocks and actually the GameStop stock itself.
Yeah.
GameStop stock. Yes. And so what they did is everybody hoarded, they collaborated and they hoarded and they bought it, and it made the price shoot up. And it made the price shoot through the moon for GameStop, which was worth nothing, basically. I mean, it was not a good company at all, but it was a company. Well, those funds were trying to basically squeeze it and crush it, right? So they're
kind of
right. So now the price of GameStop is super high. And now they're holding these put options that are for billions and billions and billions of dollars.
Well, a lot
of
them were actually just straight up short. To be clear, like they actually were. So
they straight up short. But, so it was worth nothing, and they were going to owe billions and billions of dollars.
So to be clear, I'm glad. But to set the record straight, what happened with that? Because this is actually shows how these things can go. So what you had is you had different funds, like you talked about, institutional money, some hedge funds, and what they did was. They looked at GameStop and they said, where this stock is at right now, we predict that this company is not going to keep doing very well. And so they shorted. They actually went ahead and shorted the stock, which means they borrowed shares, sold them, and then so that was still outstanding. They needed to repay those shares. So here's what happens when you short a stock. If the price of the stock actually goes up, your loss could be the moon.
Infinity.
So what happened was GameStop was shorted. Now, I don't want to get too technical, but I'll explain what this means. They were shorted more than 100% of their float. So here's what that means. The number of stock shares out there, let's say that's 100%, right? Their shares. Because of all the borrowing that was going on with shorting, they were shorted more than 100%, which meant there was a huge deficit there. Well, on this Wall Street Bets, which is a Reddit thread, and I remember I was looking at it myself because it was coming up in news circles.
Do you remember what the stock usually traded at? Like normally it went like $5 or $10 a share.
It was really. I don't remember that. Admittedly, I don't remember the pricing.
It was low, but it jacked up.
But on this Wall Street Bets thing, was what we call a meme stock, right? It's not based on the value of the company anymore. It's just this weird random movement. So like a lot of retail people. That's everyday guys, maybe some dude in his tidy whities in the basement, started buying shares of GameStop. So you had these funds that were short in excess of even the float that was out there. And now the stock just starts going up, 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 up. And these fund companies had to cover the short. Basically, put your pants back on.
A bunch of them went out of business.
They did because it bankrupted them. They were short a position here, and then they had to buy it back, but it had jumped up so high.
But it was like a David and Goliath story. It was the little man finally.
They were trying to stick it to the Wall Street, but at the end of the day,
because Wall Street always went. Well, let me explain. So Wall Street, they always, in general, they're riding around in golden helicopters or whatever. Well,
or something.
So finally, it ran up and. Everyone, I remember the chant was hold. I was buying it too. That's what I was saying. I was like with the little guy.
You were with the little guy.
And everyone's just hold. If you hold it and wait, they're going out of business.
To the moon.
Or their options are expiring.
Well, every time they have to cover that means they have to buy it. So that causes the price to keep going up.
Yeah.
It's called a short squeeze.
Exactly. So everyone's holding, and some people would some people that bought it, they bought it for $100 worth, and now it's worth $200,000 or whatever. They're like, I don't want to hold it. I have to. And they, obviously you need stuff.
Started taking their gains.
People started gaining. But anyway, they were holding it for good enough. Enough people held it, right?
Right.
Then all of a sudden, Robinhood halted trading on it.
I remember that.
The Robinhood platform, that's usually how regular people access the markets through Robinhood.
Something like
through a little
Robinhood,
app. Yeah, they are going to go to TD Ameritrade, and they're not doing all this.
But Robinhood was the...
In general, that's how everyone, right? And what they did was Robinhood wouldn't... No, they didn't halt trading. They just wouldn't allow people...
People were illiquid. They got scared.
They wouldn't let people do anything.
Couldn't trade it.
But they allowed their Wall Street friends, so the price tanked, and all the Wall Street guys covered all their losses.
Well, yeah. So to be clear, anybody that was on the Robinhood platform, if they weren't allowed to sell it, they were screwed. They were in trouble. But anyone else could, because anyone. So
you could still buy it,
but you can sell it.
You couldn't sell it.
Yeah,
and
they halted it.
It made the price go.
Others were selling it, and they were making them hold it.
But just for a temporary time frame, just for like a day or 2 days, and it caused the price to plummet enough where all those big hedge funds could cover all that stuff, and bankrupt all the little guys that were trying to bankrupt all those guys.
Yeah.
And then and Robinhood did that. Was what Robinhood did, and that was like, that's amazing someone didn't go to prison for that, because you could tell
I think there was a class action or something about it.
They were probably tapped on the shoulder by their Wall Street. And anyway, that's why
there was some reason it was legitimate.
That's why I don't think it's a fair market, because it's not a fair market. It's almost like a casino, and the house is these big funds, and these guys know each other, and they're able to exchange information with each other.
When it comes to so yes and no. I'll say this though. People that's if you're trying to act in the system and play a game with it. If you are an actual investor, see, anybody that did what you're talking about on the individual side, they weren't acting like investors, and they should have known the risk.
I was very interested in GameStop. I would have wanted to own GameStop.
You really would have wanted to own it. Okay, well, do you own any now? No, I'm just kidding. That would prove the point. But the fact is this: if you're talking about a bunch of other companies that are out there, all of the thousands that are out there, I look back and, dude, this is serious. There are people that they started, they're like the Warren Buffetts of the world. Man, they started buying stocks way, way back, and they've just owned them for years. In my opinion, those are actually the true winners. Really, when you've got the guy, let's say, that's working at the plant and working in a mill or something like that, and he's making, very healthy income, living off cash flow, living within his means, has a very nice lifestyle, but he's month after month building up his 401k, which is invested in what? Usually stocks, right? And over 30, 40 years, he's investing, and all of a sudden he retires, and he's got this huge nest egg. Well, a lot of it came from him adding money, right? But the difference of that came from just the growth over time. I think he's like the true, he or she, whatever, they're the true winner in all of this. But that's because they actually invested. They didn't just trade it.
Well, and I remember my father-in-law did that. Mm-hmm. And then his whole work, sold furniture, had his retirement set up, and then in 2008, the market guys were shorting the housing. I don't want to say too much.
That was the banking collapse, the Lehman crisis,
because they were doing.
Well, they were lending. What was happening was banks were giving people that made $50,000 a year, let's say, were getting in a $500,000 home. The lending provisions were very loose, and then what happened was people started to default. So when people started to default on their mortgages, the financial Wall Street community, basically they had created investments that were packages of mortgages, then put insurance policies on those, and it all tumbled.
I think it was the way they were packaged was not accurate. It was intentionally wrong. And they were packaged in a way where they knew they were bad. Like you said, they were bad mortgages that people couldn't afford.
They didn't know that necessarily. Here's the thing. The rating agencies kept rating the housing markets and any investment associated with that as like highest rating, because, and literally what they said was, well, who would have ever thought the housing market would have collapsed? Because you have houses, like you have actual collateral there. Right. But what happened was it did. And when it collapsed, those ratings ended up being inaccurate. But it's like, in hindsight, should everyone have known better? Yeah, but at the time, the economy, there's no way this is going to fall. But when it happened, it happened. But a lot of people lost in that time frame a lot of their money. And where people got hurt with that was anybody who was looking to retire or cash in during that time frame.
Yeah, because if you would have hung, it obviously bounced back, but
it did. Yeah,
if you're retiring and then now you got to spend a decade recovering.
That's true. But here's the thing: the winners in that case, I'll just mention this. I won't go into detail because it makes some people fall asleep. But the true winners there actually were the bigger banks, and that's because they got bailed out. They were too big to fail, and so they were not allowed to fail. The federal government stepped in, and the Federal Reserve Bank stepped in. Between the Treasury and the Fed, they used U.S. taxpayer dollars, our money, to buy these toxic, what are called toxic assets. And so they used our money to do that. The big ones got bailed out, and that brought some stabilization. But there's some good things because it depends who you talk to. But out of that came some regulations that cause banks to have certain capital
and I think
thresholds.
housing market too was more accurate after, as far as when there's sort of some hyper valuations of homes and
there was a bubble and it burst, and when it burst it flattened and leveled back out. And but I mean, some argue and say we were in a little bit of a housing bubble recently, and things are starting to fare back out.
They say AI's I heard people talk about an AI bubble, but someone else there's no such thing, because AI is going to bring a lot more physical, like actual productivity and other complements to a company that it's worth exponentially more. That there's no bubble,
The AI, lately that's the talk of it. And the thing I think is this: it's so hard. AI is incredible. The amount, where will it be in a few years? I see it right now currently as not the sky is the limit, but I don't feel like I feel like we're just kind of moving into this thing. Like 20% of companies have actually even started integrating AI into how they do business. Right. That means there's thousands of companies of all different sizes that will still either go out or be bought out, or they will integrate AI in. And when that happens, the AI companies, the ones that make the chips, the one that's that even you talk about storage, I don't think a lot of people fully understand it, but then there's it's still speculative. And I think the talk of the AI bubble proves that it is, because it's not the housing market. It's not houses, which we have. I just think there's a lot, and I'm not recommending people go out and invest in AI stuff right now. All I'm saying is I think if you look at it logically, we're still in the early stages. Like if we could go 30 years down the road and look back, it would be like us looking back at some of the computing and the internet.
Microsoft.
Like a Microsoft company. The thing is, you have to choose now what companies will be and remain the winners. And you also have to recognize when companies are being passed up, when others are doing it better, doing it right. No company's just going to last forever unless they continue to grow and adapt. They'll last forever, but I mean is they're not going to always remain the number one in their space with no competition. Like even with Amazon, you had Walmart step up, and now Walmart on the e-commerce level is Amazon's number one competitor. Walmart, which has brick and mortar.
Yeah.
You think of that, right? But they have a huge e-commerce platform, and they're a big challenge for our competitor to Amazon. I think it's going to happen.
I think our generation is different from the last one. Mm-hmm. And maybe we're not, because I'll give an example. I'm saying that regarding integrating or accepting new technology, and not being concerned about it hurting their livelihoods. I feel like, for example, one of my customers is a big grain facility. Since the 1800s, ships come up the Mississippi River and a conveyor belt brings the corn into this giant silo. Right. Well, since the 1800s, a guy would climb all the way up this 60-foot silo a couple times a day, and he would look down in there and see how much was in it. And it's half full, or it's 3/4. And he'd run all the way down. And there was a bunch of these silos, a bunch of them that they would fill up all day. And I went there. I said, "Look, we have a technology. It's a radar level gauge that I can put up here.
Okay.
And you don't have to climb up anymore. I can have you a little display down, and it'll always tell you exactly how much is in there. It mounts on the top. It shoots a signal down, and it's always accurate.
Interesting.
It's 3 millimeters accurate."
Wow.
And I said, and they had 90 tanks. And they said, "Well, we'll do that as a trial. And if it works, we'll do all 90 of the tanks." So that's why we did it. We said, "Okay, I'll give you this one for free." To try out.
Yeah.
And then once I prove it works.
It's amazing.
Well, so we installed it on there, and then the next day they said, "Yep, that thing's not working." I go all the way out there in New Orleans. I climb up all the way in the tower, and the wire is cut. So I'm like, someone cut the wire.
Cut.
So then fix the wire. A few days later, like, oh, it's not working again. They pulled it completely out and flipped it on its side. Like,
they sabotaged it?
Yeah, and they
vandalized it.
The guy who climbs up the tower every day didn't want to lose his climb up the tower job.
So he cut and ruined your...
I don't know if it's him, but I'm just saying, and that's not an uncommon thing. So people with technology, there is a mindset by people, and he didn't realize I'm trying to keep him in. He could sit in the air conditioner and play on his phone if he'd let me. But or they might say we don't need a climb up guy.
Obsolete,
right? Or they may have repurposed him. I don't know. I'm guessing that, but I'm saying there is that factor of people who don't want to grow. They want to be exactly where they are.
That's what we started off talking about. Is
we grew up in the internet era.
Everything changed all the time.
We're ready. I think we're very used to change, and the changes get better sometimes. Like, we got rid of our flip phones. We're like, oh yeah, these phones are way better.
They're coming back. Don't worry. Yeah. But no, the technology. Yeah, I think I'm not scared of change. I welcome it to come along. I know there's always a price to pay, and you hope that you're not the casualty in that at some point. But like the big fear is AI going to replace people. Well, here's the thing: you've got half the people in the world running around scared that AI is going to completely replace them, but yet there's an AI bubble.
There's only like 30% of people that work anyways. We need a lot of people to be replaced. I mean, they're not doing anything anyway. They can continue to not do anything, but we need robots to fill in what they're supposed to be doing. No, it's because then
it's only a matter of time before it's realized that they are not needed. And that's the thing, right? And then they but you're not going to stop that. It's going to happen at some point. So to your point,
they sabotage the robots.
That's not going to happen. You know that it's not going to happen. It's going to integrate it. But the thing is this, I remember from the time of COVID until just in the last year, the job market was all screwed up, right?
Right.
Because there was like 3 job openings available for every one person, and people got all lazy with that, and they were just being all selective. And I'm like, y'all keep that up, you're going to be replaced. And sure enough, that's what started to happen. And I don't know, like I said, it is a curve. Now, when my kids start coming up, like my kids' age, I don't know what's going to happen, because I feel like we're creating Boomer 2.0 with them. Like my generation, the millennials, I feel like we're sandwiched, like literally in a sandwich, and that we're holding up both ends of the spectrum. I could be wrong on that, forgive me, but we'll see what happens with this next generation. They're interesting. The 6-7 generation, 6-7. We'll see what happens with them. But I feel like my generation, we have, and maybe it's just the bubble I live in, but I feel like we have been we don't want our kids to fail or know what failure even feels like. See, I grew up, and all I remember is I've had to fight through it and do everything for myself. Everything. I no help. Save for what it is, it's true. And still don't get any help in anything much. But my kids get all of the help and the resources, and I don't even think that they realize it. They don't know what it is to not have an iPad. Yeah. They don't know what it is to not even... They know, like, AI to them is a natural thing. Like, no, they just think about it as like a glorified Google search.
Right.
But still, coding, that was a big thing. Now, not as much. Think about it, right?
Yeah.
It's just everything changes. It's kind of crazy. It's interesting, But
I don't mind it.
Like for Christmas, all they're getting is electronic stuff now. No more little toys and things. It's all electronics. It's amazing. Yeah. Don't even get me started on the gaming. But that's your world. Didn't you play
I don't. No.
You don't game anymore?
No, I hadn't in years. I haven't.
Really? Okay.
One day it was like I had like the strength of the Lord or something, and I took the whole PlayStation and I threw it in the trash. I didn't even sell it. I'm like, if I tried to
sell it,
I was like, if I tried to post it and sell it, I would change my mind and I would start playing again.
So you tossed it in the trash. Perfectly good Xbox.
I'm free. PlayStation 4.
Free, praise the Lord.
It was before the PS5. That's how long
played it last. Okay, and you just gone, over.
Yeah, I've gotten so much done since then.
Would you be interested in getting back into that world?
I am going to, only because I think it's really good for your brain.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, for me it is. Yeah.
Which game?
Well, I'm going to probably do the new GTA, the Grand Theft Auto. They're coming up just because they spent $100 billion developing a video game. Wait, it might be $1 billion.
100 billion or 100 million?
No, watch.
Developing Grand Theft Auto?
In 10 years, they're a decade into it now.
That's Electronic Arts?
Let me see.
100 billion with a B?
GTA.
That's like
No, I'm sorry, it wasn't 100.
I was about to say that
the budget for GTA 6, it's $1 to $2 billion.
I mean, that's still a lot of money, but
that's a lot of money. But it's a full. People are going to be able to open businesses in there in this virtual world.
Really?
And you can drive your car over there and pay them and buy outfits from them. And
really,
and they're selling guns and things for you to use in the game. But I've heard that there are going to be several millionaires made who run businesses in this virtual world.
So you're going to have Jewish people playing the game.
I'm not commenting on that. You're Jewish.
What's that supposed to mean? Is that why you asked me the money questions? That's amazing. So what's your platform what's your gaming system?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet.
You haven't thought about all this? No? Okay.
Yeah, but I got a lot of stuff to do. I don't want to get it now. But it does. All the people, like the really smart people I know, they all play video games.
I mean, I see, especially my 13-year-old on his PS5 Pro or whatever he's got, and his hand-eye coordination, he moves so fast on there sometimes. It's like a blur.
Yeah, I like the problem solving and the decision skills.
Okay, I got you. Yeah,
I like the free roam. I don't like games where you're just trying to follow and do what they want you to do. I like games that, well, my favorite, like Modern Warfare, where they just drop you on this huge map and you do whatever you want to do, and then it challenges your creativity and it challenges your resourcefulness. I just feel like it makes me quicker and more. It gives me an edge. It's what I feel.
So here's the thing, I'm thinking one aspect that this, again, there's pros and cons to everything, right? So here's my thought on this one. You ready? All right. I think some of these gamers now, like my kids' age, for example, that are doing all this gaming. All right, they're in middle school right now and they're just gamers. But these are the future. Well, maybe not my son, but these are the future surgeons of the world, and they're not going to be going in as much, and they are integrating robotics in to surgery more and more now. And what's amazing is you have the patient in the OR operating room with the robotic arms acting, the surgeon himself or herself in another room. They're in like this futuristic looking simulator thing with their hands, and they are looking and do, because you got the cameras, but the precision that a robot can do.
Yes.
But when you're talking about heart surgery and the internal stuff, it reduces the error rate, of course, because you have the precision. But yet then you have the recovery time because you don't have to open up as much because the robotics can get in and do what fingers can't. It's like when you look at them doing this, it's like they're playing a video game.
That's fascinating.
So I think it's going to have a payoff that, because you want to get like, why are you playing those games? But it creates an incredible hand-eye coordination skill that if you put that in the operating room, because you got robots involved and you're basically playing a game with somebody's heart. But think about that.
Yeah, well, I remember pretty incredible. It's like I mentioned, I grew up working on cars. My family owned an auto repair shop. Since I was 5 years old, I was taking apart cars, putting them together. I probably, up until recently, left the original engine in the car, all the new cars that I buy. But the older cars I used to grow up, I'd always mess with that kind of stuff. Anyways,
you really can't now. They're just computers.
We had a pretty good volume of cars that go through our shop. But I was trying to learn. I knew I needed to learn, so I would be learning. I learned how to run the whole business eventually. But I needed to really get to like a lot of computer skills, which now is very valuable. I own basically a software development company. So, but back then it was like, you need to go work on those cars back there. We need you to go in the shop and work on the cars. And so it's like, I know I'm doing that, but I need, this is a skill that I'm going to need, and it was like, that's like a toy. We need you to go work, because you couldn't comprehend. You're just, but I saw that in the beginning. I'm like, no, this is where we're going. Go. And fortunately I did. So
yeah, that's very cool. Well, look, there's a skill. That's the thing I'd say, whether it's the internet or whatever it is, there can be positives that come out of things. And I think the ones that recognize that's where we see progress. Otherwise, you get stuck, and it is what it is. But speaking of Christmas, are you ready?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe you. Did you buy Jessica a gift?
No, that's why we're going out of town on a trip. So I don't have to buy anyone a gift. To be like, oh, man.
Oh, that is the gift.
I'm out of town. Yeah.
That's the gift. Nice.
It's our anniversary, the 23rd, and the Christmas, and then her birthday's on the 30th.
Yeah.
And then so you kind of take a trip beforehand, and then she usually says, "This is my gift. Don't give me any other gift."
Okay.
And I say, "Okay," but then if I don't get her another gift, she's gonna be sad for her birthday. So I end up getting her gifts. For those days too.
And you're not gifted enough. No, that's awesome. I love that. Gifts, how many years y'all been together?
It's gonna be 19.
This is 19 years.
19 years,
bro. That's incredible. That's like half of a lifetime.
It sounds like a huge number, but it doesn't seem that long.
It just flew by.
flew by. She's wonderful. She gets better each year. I like her more. I've always liked her the most.
She's like a fine wine, and you're like an aged cheese.
I think that's what's so cool about God, though, because I think every couple of years, people are different people than they were.
Totally.
And
absolutely.
But as long if God is the center, you're both growing in the grace and knowledge of the Lord, and you're both growing in fruits of the Spirit, and those mesh so good together: love and joy and peace.
Absolutely.
And so you are actually, I think most marriages without God grow apart, just because people grow and have different interests. But the people where God is their center and the Spirit of God is working in both of them, I think they grow together, and I think they become more in love. They complement each other more, and I think they have more powerful of an impact in the world.
So what you're saying is the next 20 is going to be even better than the first 20.
Be better.
I love that. Think of all the places you'll go. Oh, I'm going to write a book about you, Craig. Oh, the places you and Jessica will go.
They need to invent us some AI Botox that just keeps doing its thing. We've been married for 40 years. Some AI Botox.
I love that. Oh, the things they'll come up with. Well, I'm sure y'all are going to have an amazing trip. Yeah, and you're going to go skiing, right?
Yeah, leaving tomorrow. I just now packed, and Jessica's been stressed to the max because my wife packs a month before a trip. Everything's in her suitcase. She's ready to leave.
That's amazing.
She has every outfit planned to the moment, and then I'm at the last minute. She's like, I need to know what laundry to wash. I need to know if I need to.
You're like, just wash all my panties.
she's like. Anyway, yeah, but I just put her through. I've been super busy, but I just went down there and intentionally packed. So
and
it's
that's
not
a sign
in the
of love.
Suitcase, but it is ready for the suitcase. It's suitcase ready.
You have it at just the stacks that go in. Are you going to do the suitcase transfer, or does she handle that for you?
I do sometimes, but she has a good method. She rolls the shirts.
Yeah, okay. So she just needed you to get your stuff on the bed or the floor or whatever together,
right?
And then she can put it in there. So you've done your job. I wait until the very last minute. It's an ADD neuro.
Yeah.
What are we? Neurodivergent.
Yes, neurodivergent.
Yes, neurodivergent. For me, it's like, well, first of all, the weather. Yeah. The most accurate weather prediction I'm going to get is the day before I'm going to get there, right?
I guess so. So I think if we were, we joke around about being neurodivergent. And you guys always tell me that I'm autistic. I don't know if I am.
We're just not. We're not saying that you're wrong.
What I know it is what I'm thinking. I don't feel like I am. But in the grocery store the other day, I felt like I am on the spectrum because she sent me to get the paper plates to go boxes that clip together.
Okay.
I had to get that, and then I had to get pie crust, and then so I walk in the grocery store and I'm like, okay, I would put pie crust here, and dude, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the pie crust. Every part of my imagination, I'm like, maybe around where cheese would be. It's just nothing was where I thought it should be, right? And so there was a guy who worked. This is in Whole Foods. There's a guy who worked there, but he was having a conversation with another guy, like a customer, maybe his friend. So I kind of eased over there, and I'm like, hey, excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you guys. Pie crust, and then he's like, oh yeah, right there. It was like some in the freezer area in the middle of I don't know, whatever.
The most random weird spot.
I got the pie crust. And then so the very next thing was the to-go plates. And then so I'm like, by the napkins? By the other it's not regular plates, like paper plates. It's plates where you have a lid and close them.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're
I walked around for like 10 minutes, and I walked by those guys 2 times, still having that conversation. And I'm like, I can't come back 10 minutes later and ask them for something else. So I just left. I didn't even get him.
There wasn't another work.
I can't go to 2 because the guy's a witness. If he was alone and if he was like, this guy, I think was the dumbest grocery store person ever. You know what? That'd be funny. But if he had a collaboration witness, like his friend, they could bring it up together later on.
What's so funny is that it's not like you would have had a grocery, like a cart that was empty, and then you come back and you have a ton of things. You walk back 10 minutes later, and all you're holding is the pie crust.
I'm still on the pie crust. I'm telling you, I walked all over Whole Foods.
What did you do the last 10 minutes?
This is all. But anyway,
did he see you like walking by the aisle? Like,
yeah.
Did the other guy leave yet? No.
Yeah. And
so you couldn't find it. Like you walk.
Yeah. So that made me. That
you
made me feel like
the whole store.
But everyone else seemed to know where they were going. Like everyone else seems very knowledgeable. And so another example. I've never bought diapers before. We don't have kids.
Diapers?
Yeah. And so we had someone's kid come into our house, and Jessica said, "Oh, go to Walmart and get diapers." And I'm like, okay, that seems very simple. It seems like that's the. So like I go to Walmart and like I walk in and there's the grocery side and then there's like the home goods side.
Yes.
And so I walk in the home goods side and I'm thinking, well, where would diapers be? And then I'm like, well, that's kind of a
by the toys.
I'm kind of a medical thing, I guess. And so I went to the pharmacy and there was diapers there, but they were adult diapers. And then I'm like, well, why would they separate the children's diapers and the adult diapers? Why would they do that? It's
right next to the ladies'
it's
things and all that.
Yeah, but it's adult. Why, just go ahead and stick the baby diapers there.
Next to the
We're
adult
in the diaper area. And then so I asked the woman, she said, I'm like, no, I didn't want to ask her. I said, this is ridiculous. And so I said, well, maybe it's by the groceries. And so I'm walking over there. I'm like, well, it's not food. It's more like a paper plate or a paper towel, basically. It's a paper towel. So it'll be in that area. I go all up and down those aisles, and there's not there. Nowhere to be found.
No,
I have the Walmart app now that I use a lot, but I didn't use it then to find stuff. I finally found it in the liquor section. I'm like, that makes perfect sense. Like you're a parent and you have a baby. It was seriously at Walmart. It's in like the liquor section. It's right there.
Next to it.
Unless they did that strategically, like.
I don't know, but you're right because I at one time did have to go in and buy diapers.
And it's in the liquor section.
In the liquor section.
That's what makes me feel like I'm on the spectrum sometimes. It's stuff like that. I feel like everyone has an understanding that I don't understand.
You made me break a sweat on that one because that is I remember thinking. So I'm with you. No, and this is why we might. I don't know what's wrong with these neurotypical people, and none of it makes sense. I'm with you on that. It's like, what the heck? But yeah, I thought about that before. How they put the alcohol on the baby. But why don't they put it with the adult diapers? Makes no sense. Both of them act the same, you know. No, I should say that. Man, I don't know. They say we're neurodivergent. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But you're gonna have a good trip.
I am.
And then you're gonna come back. It'll be Christmas time.
Yeah. And there's probably no one's gonna decorate my house or my yard for me. There's not gonna be any inflatable things in my front yard when I get home. No.
What are you talking about?
No, I don't know. Just maybe somebody might put something inflatable in my yard or other things.
Has anyone ever done that before?
Someone's done it in the past, and I don't want to go into details.
You want to go into those details? Okay.
No, I'm not going into details. Josh put something in.
What was it like?
Yard.
But I mean, you mean like a Santa Claus?
Mm-hmm.
That you put a Santa Claus in your front yard before, huh?
Yeah, you did.
Like an inflatable. Yeah, kind of. Just an inflatable, nice Santa that lights up at night and waves to the people.
But it was October.
Well, but
that's the funny part, and that's the end of it. It's a great joke, Josh.
It was October, and then it was up there for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Would you if you can hire somebody to come and decorate your front yard while you're gone?
No.
Oh, you want me to do it? Well, I got bad news for you. I'm a little too busy.
All right.
This go around. But
that's funny. Well, you ready to go up?
Man, I think so.
Thanks for doing this. What did we even talk about?
I don't remember.
How would you even title this?
We talked about
stock options. And we talked about
what
before.
We titled this? This was just I would say baby diapers and alcohol. Because that's the most salient point of this whole thing. This was just us chit-chatting before you go out of town. We won't get to chit-chat for another week. And then with Christmas and all that, I probably won't see you again until like New Year.
Yeah, and you know what? We're dressed like Antifa, and we're like bashing the stock markets. We're bashing investment bankers. So just to be clear, I'm a pure capitalist. I love the market. Our financial system is great.
I am so glad that you brought that up. And even though look, I have a blue shirt under this. See, there, it's like Superman or whatever. But so that's what we talked about too. My weird love of Superman, vintage things. Yeah,
that came up for a little bit.
It did, but it was very special to me to be able to bring that up.
To know that. That's cool to know you want that. One day I'll tell your wife to buy it if it comes up on auction.
No, because that'd be my money unless she.
How much do you think that would cost?
Oh, dude, the last one.
We're talking about Superman.
The actual costume that like Christopher Reeve
one he wore in the movie.
Like, well, they had several of them obviously in filming, but like one of the original ones, the full thing, it was if I'm not mistaken, it was 200,000 or 300,000, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe more than that.
I hope they washed it, or would that make the value go down?
No, make the value go down.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to wash that.
Come on, man.
No, you don't wear it, but you put it on display. But it had like his name in it. Nathan and Berman's was the company that made it, and there actually was a fake one recently that was discovered. They had a forged COA, a certificate of authenticity. So that was discovered. So you got to be careful. But yeah, but like if you take one of the original Superman comics, action comic like number 1 from 1936, dude, that's millions of dollars if it's in good condition. And somebody found one in their like, I think it was her grandmother's attic, in very good condition, pretty much brand new. And it was, there are treasures in people's attics right now that I would pay a lot of money to have if I had the money.
We need to force our wives to watch all the Superman movies, I think.
Oh, they'll watch, what's his name with no problem?
Yeah, Henry Cavill.
Henry, the Englishman who rides horses and makes steaks and
that's what Jessica's
gardens and loves animals
like,
and works
English
out.
horses. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And he cooks.
He
loves to cook.
And he loves the outdoors, and he has a ranch and land and whatever. I'd have all that stuff too. I think you and Henry Cavill look just alike, except different faces.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would watch him.
Henry
no problem.
Cavill could totally steal my wife from me. I'm aware of that, and I can accept that. But
he could
I have to
steal
keep her
both
away.
of our wives.
If he ever came around, I love my wife enough. I would introduce myself as her brother, and I would say, "Hi, I'm her brother."
You pulling Abraham? With Pharaoh and Sarah. You know how that ended
I would
up.
wingman for my wife with Henry Cavill. Because I know how much she likes him, so.
Okay, well.
Sorry, I don't know what that makes me, but I would go away brokenhearted and I would hate it, but I know she'd be living her greatest dream, and I would love to give that to her.
That's so, I love
She'd
that.
be in the English countryside, and I'll have to come back here to
Prairieville.
this shithole.
Yeah, pretty much. With one horse out there now. Right. I know, I'm in the same boat, but you know what? On that note.
Who's Bethany's guy?
Oh, she likes her some Henry. Yeah, I know that. You asking if there's like another, like Superman guy or another guy in general?
In general. Is there? Yeah, of course.
But other than that, I don't know. I don't think I'm sure that she'll say like,
hopefully
guys
if you ask her, she don't reply too fast.
That would be a concern.
She needs to at least think about it for a while.
Yeah. You know what? If she asked me the reverse question, not about a guy, but about a woman, I don't have an answer off the top of my head. I would actually have to really think about that.
I think a lot of them kind of look the same, especially the actresses, because and this Jessica can read my mind now. 19 years, I'm like, is that she says, no, that's not who you're thinking it is. I'm thinking it's the lady. She's like, yeah, you're thinking it's the lady from that movie. And she says her name, right. And she's a different lady. Like, that lady looks just like the other lady.
Yeah, you're right. I can't think of now some of like the old Hollywood ladies. They were beautiful, classy, amazing women. But
what if Bethany said something like Garth Brooks?
Girth Brooks.
What if she said that? Would that make you look at her differently? You'd be like, wait, she has awful taste in men. Did you think about that?
That I've never thought about that.
What if you ask her? So don't preface her and lead her up
just
to
straight
it.
up ask her.
Wait till we're all together and just ask her.
What am I asking specifically?
Say, Bethany, if I wasn't in the picture and you could pick any man in the whole world.
She'd probably spit out Henry pretty fast.
Well, that would upset Jessica and their friends, so she may not.
No, I think she would. I think Jessica would probably jump on board and agree.
I really don't like this Henry guy.
No, I don't either. I'm starting to hate him now, actually, even though he was Superman. I don't know. Bethany will say sometimes, like, she'll see a guy, like a younger guy, like maybe a guy in his 20s, younger. And she'll be like, oh, he's a little cutie. But it's more of like an endearing thing, like, you know, like, oh, he's a little cutie, but not like he's a hunk or anything like that. But now Henry.
Well, our wives went to Charleston, and they're talking about men running on the beach with long flowing hair.
You want to know something?
No, don't tell me. Yeah, tell me.
Okay. I went and got my hair cut yesterday. But I normally get the fade, right? Get it short, get it, okay?
You're leaving it long for her?
Do it.
We're so
didn't
jealous.
do it. I sat down and I said, the girl cuts my hair. She goes, all right, what are we doing today? And I looked at her and I said, I literally said, my wife went to Charleston. I kid you not. And she goes, what? I said, and she knows Bethany. I said, Bethany went to Charleston a few months ago with her friends. And she came back, and all she talked about was penis pictures and
clarify that. There was a lot of drawings on the street, like graffiti.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Apparently, guys with long flowing.
And it was funny.
But secondly, the main thing was long flowing man hair running on the beach. And I looked and I was like, I don't want to cut my hair too short. She goes, I got you.
And you hired a personal trainer. And I quit eating sugar.
I'm training now.
These women are in our heads, dude. Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
This train, like I was already kind of going to the gym.
They should have really planned. They should have been like, and they were all taking out the garbage and stuff. Like,
I mean,
the girls could have made.
They could have really, they got in my head.
Got in our head.
So it actually influenced me not cutting my hair short.
That's flattering how much that we love them. That we wish that we could be everything that they want.
I know it. You know what? You're right. That's what I'm trying to do. And I buy Bethany a new car, and it ruins my ability to send text messages. Long story. But I just need to go to Charleston now. I want to see these drawings. I want to see these guys with their hair.
All right.
I want my own drawing there. And I want to have long flowing hair.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my new goal. Take that, Henry.
All right.
So, So you know what? We're going to do that. And you're going to be there. And you're going to draw the picture.
No, we're going to come and we're going to run through the beach ourselves.
Right.
Do you even remember how to run?
No. Wait, do you remember how to skip?
Have I ever seen you run?
Okay. Yeah, you never seen me run? No.
When would you run?
I would have never run. You've seen me drive, but you've never seen me
I need
run.
to do a video. We're gonna do a video after this of you running.
I look like a clod when I run.
I'm gonna do.
I've never seen you run.
I run all the time at like pickleball and.
I've never seen it though.
I just did a 5K.
But I've never seen it. I mean, I know
there's videos on the internet of me like,
running.
Yeah. I'm like literally running the 5K on Jessica's story. I'm running by waving, like actually running.
Oh, I thought it was more of like a
you probably hadn't ran in 20 years. I'm gonna get a video of you running.
I
might sit in the back of my truck and video you, but I'll be holding like a bagel or something that you're running for.
What's next? $100 bill on a stick? Oh my gosh. Well, this was good. This was fun. I needed this little laugh of reprieve. So have fun on your trip. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I'm sure I'll see you before all that.